Hey everybody, today I want to talk about Warhammer Age of Sigmar Skirmish. This is a battle game. It's kind of maybe like a Mordheim reboot. Obviously, very much kind of like the Shadow War Armageddon side of things, where it's a small skirmish based game. There are some restrictions on how you build your army, and I'll talk about them a little bit, but I think it's a pretty easy way to get up and go. Now, you've heard them talk about this on their own live stream, but it's essentially like a collection of alternate rules to use with the plastic kits, where someone could walk into the game store, want to pick up a kit or two, and then start playing immediately. And I'm going to demonstrate that a little bit in this video here, at least talking about how I would get going and the ease it would take to get there. But I think it's important to talk about how you build an army. I should say army, it's a war band. It's built off points, but not the traditional points like a unit cost 50 points or whatever like we know. They refer to it as renown, and that's something that they mess with in the in-between game things that go down, whether you can do this in a campaign style or you can even do it in a tournament. They actually, in this slim book, this thin book that they give you, it covers how to all the different styles of play. So it does cover pretty robustly how to handle a tournament. It even goes on to say how you would score that tournament. I mean, that's suggestions on how to score the tournament, and even gives you an opportunity to include the between game functions even in the tournament. And one of the neat things about it is you can gain renown, and that's one way to give battle points, as we call them, in a mission, which could make games 2 and 3 or 4 or whatever in your tournament be a little bit bigger. It's a way to grow it over time, have some variation between what people see. I don't know, there's probably could be even some play in what someone takes if they know who they're fighting in the second or third round. Anyway, I think there's some options there for a fast-paced kind of quick multi-round. Like, you could get to a true winner. You could have 5 or 6 games of this in a day, and you haven't feel like you've spent too much time on each game. You're not bogged down in the tedium. But the restrictions in this for the format of building a list are that you have to be from the same Grand Alliance. Now, you know, the destruction, death, order, that chaos, that stuff is the Grand Alliance, and so anything you choose has to be from that Grand Alliance. The other big thing is that you have to have at least one hero and a minimum of 3 models. There are some other things that you can't do or that you should do, but they kind of get boring, and I shouldn't say boring. They're a little harder to read and make it sound exciting in a quick video like this. But it's the tedium of the stuff that's to make it balanced. So really, all the other limitations on how to build your force are meant to kind of narrow things down into that skirmish level play and to make things balanced across the different factions. I think it's real neat here that it does, instead of the points, like I said, they give it renown. So you buy your force with renown. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the Sylvaneth. That's what I play. That's what I've been building for my Age of Sigmar camp, or games and tournaments and whatnot. And it's pretty easy to get going. You only need, for instance, a branch witch, 16 points. Hunters are 15 points apiece, and it goes on to say the dryads are 2 points apiece. So that gives that right there is 50 renown if you take a couple dryads, a couple hunters, and a branch witch. So I've met the minimum of 3 models. I've got my hero in there, and it's already 50 points. But gets even better. To actually purchase this, I'm looking at a box of hunters and a box of dryads at the minimum. I know there's a branch witch that has its own figure and whatnot that you could pick, but you can even build that out of the box of dryads, I think, if you wanted, at least for this get you by scenario, to see if you just want to get into the army. This is another one of the things we haven't mentioned, is that this is a neat way to pick up armies and play with them kind of, on the sly, or a little bit on the cheap, until you decide if you really want it or not. So like these Caradron overlords and whatnot, you could pick up something with them, see if you like building them, see if you like playing with them, and then play with a buddy with his already existing Sigmar army. It's a really good entryway, and I think that's kind of what the way they've designed this is, to be something that you could get somebody brand new to the game in general and get them playing with the figures. Like I just mentioned, a box of hunters and a box of dryads, I'm only looking at what is that? A little bit less than $100. I think it is right at $100 or so, and that's retail to get going with this process, and so that I'm into the hobby. I'm playing with this group. Maybe I'm trying to get into a new group of folks or whatever. And I think it's a neat way. And with the way they've got this set up, the missions, there's 6 missions in here that are all designed around this skirmish level to be played between 50 and 100 renown with just a couple of handfuls of models. You should check it out on the Warhammer Live TV where they did a demo of this. You see how the games how fast they go. And anyway, this is something I'm going to be playing. It's an excuse to break out and play on a 4x4 table. You should see with everything getting ready for 8th edition, half of my hobby table is a disaster area, and I've only got about a 4x4 section to play on. So this sounds like it's a pretty cool opportunity to experiment with that. Anyway, thanks a lot. Let me know if you're getting into Sigmar or have questions about some of the factions and what they can do. I'm happy to talk about it.